everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of Piofiore Faded Memories, Nicola's arc. Last time was quite the roller coaster, and I am looking forward to and not looking forward to what's happening. I was internally screaming at the moment that we had with Nicola, and then very angry at Roberto for low-key taking that high away from me. Okay, so enough talking about what happened last time. Let's find out what happens next. I tried to recall what happened tonight. I walked along a path I knew very well. Ever since the Mafia deaths, my men have kept reminding me to not step outside alone. But that was precisely why I needed to walk out here. The citizens were looking on as bystanders, but they feared the casualties would soon fall upon them. The blessing the Mafia bestowed on Berlone came with its risks as well. The moment conflict surfaced, it was possible the people here could be dragged into it. If I didn't step outside, the people would think that danger was imminent. Living my life as I usually did, even if doing so put it at risk. That was what was needed now.
ドミニクは留置場内で死んだ。敵は警察に通じている。もしくは警察内部の人間か。だが、ドミニクの件以降、ブルローネ死刑にマフィア排斥の動きはない。単独犯か。だとすれば尻尾をつかむのは逆に難しい。しかし、相手も追い詰められている。各組織が警戒を強めている今、動くに動く。何？今の。いきなりなんだ？何が起こ
The man fell to the ground, blood gushing out of his body. The blood spread along with fear. The people all began to scream. The more gunshots were heard.
街中で発砲だと。
The people were running frantically. I couldn't find the shooter. Could it be from above?
建物に入れ。窓のそばには近寄るな。
I looked above me while instructing the citizens to find shelter. The sun was still up. I squinted through the bright light. A young child tripped and fell in the empty street. He must have been separated from his parents. A shot ricocheted next to the child. I had no time to think. I rushed to the child and brought him into my arms. I ran toward the alley and... Why am I looking at the sky? Word spread immediately across Berlone. He trembled with shaky breath. I could tell he was distressed.
Danteは死んだ。
No. Are you sure? It must be a mistake.
信頼できる筋に確かめた。新聞も夕方には号外を出してる。
This can't be happening. Words couldn't express the shock. I couldn't even fathom what Nicola was going through. No words could comfort him now.
ニコラ、今回はご愁傷様だったが。
いいんだ、ギルバート。そんな言葉。
Nicola? Nicola nonchalantly interrupted Gil and slowly drew his gun out. The barrel was pointed directly at Gil.
おいおい。何の冗談だ、ニコラ。
君は覚えている？僕がビスコンティに来た理由。
ファルツォーネを潰すためだろ。
それは目的の半分でしかない。大事な部分が欠けている。
He spoke coldly through an oddly formed grin.
僕が潰したかったのは、ダンテがカポを務めるファルツォーネだ。彼が死んだ以上、僕の目的は失われた。
どうして俺に銃を向ける？お前は今何を考えてる？
なんだと思う？
Nicola, please put the gun down. What are you thinking? I mustered the courage to speak up amid the tension in the air. I tried to step in between to stop them, but...
死にたいのか？離れてろ！
He pushed me with all his might. I fell onto the ground with a thud. Gil grabbed hold of his gun while kicking a chair at Nicola. Nicola dodged the chair and stepped forward with his gun in position. In a flash, Gil drew his gun out and... My scream didn't escape my lips. I closed my eyes. I didn't hear any gunfire in the lounge. What's happening? As I slowly and carefully opened my eyes, dread washed over me. Gil was holding his bloody chest while glaring at Nicola.
飾りじゃねえのかよ。それ。
Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, and soon he coughed it up violently. Gil! Before my scream ended, Gil slowly crumpled to the floor. Nicola wiped the blood from his knife before placing it back into its sheath.
ここぞという時にしか使わないから奥の手なんだよ。
It dawned on me what happened. The gun was a decoy. Nicola drew Gil's attention to it and stabbed him. Unable to fathom the intensity of the situation, I gazed blankly upon Gil's body, and then at Nicola. Why did you... I let out what little words I had in my mind. Nicola looked at me for a short moment, then sighed.
手土産なしにファルツォーネが僕を裏切り者を受け入れることはない。
What do you mean? You're planning on going back?
ファルツォーネでやらなければならないことができた。どんな手を使ってでも僕はファルツォーネに戻らなくちゃならない。だからギルバートを殺した。それだけだ。
What do you need to do?
復讐だ。
Nicola turned to me and slowly began to walk.
君はもういらない。
I closed my eyes in fear of the death that loomed over me. I could only hope he would do it painlessly. With death imminent, it was all I could manage to think. Strange. I didn't feel any sort of painful impact at all. All I felt was dry hand patting me on the head. Huh? I opened my eyes to see Nicola's face right in front of me.
元の居場所、教会に戻るといい。君の役目はもう終わったんだ。
I didn't know what to say. I was more shocked at his expression than at the words he said. His eyes looked so sad. What I saw in them wasn't hatred. Within those cold eyes, I could only see despair. Wait, Nicola! I instinctively reached out and grabbed the hem of his jacket as he moved away. I can't let Nicola go. I won't go back to the church.
どうしたの？頭でも打ったのかな？ギルバートは乱暴だったからね。
His words were cold and without emotion. I didn't think he was even listening to me. Still, I can't let Nicola go, not like this. Please, you have to take me with you to the Falzones. I'm worried about you. I want to be with you, Nicola.
僕はたった今ギルバートを殺したんだよ。世話になった相手だろうと簡単に殺す男だ。
Yes, I still can't believe it. I don't want to believe it.
最低の殺人者だ。ファミリーを裏切ってここに来て。
I can't forgive you for killing Gil, but please, you have to take me with you.
僕は君のことだっていつでも殺せるんだよ。
I'm honestly scared of you. But I don't want to leave you alone. Hearing my plea made Nicola sigh deeply.
君って子は。
Suddenly, clamor could be heard outside the lounge. I heard people nearby.
ギルバートはまだ話しているのか。この忙しい時に。何の話なんですかね、一体。人払いしろって言われましたが。
Nicola glared at the door, then looked in my direction.
足手まといになるなら置いていくよ。
I'll be fine. I forced myself up with trembling arms. My legs were shaking, making it difficult to stand. No, I need to stand.
ほら。
Nicola grabbed my arm and pulled me off the ground. He told me I needed to keep up with him. And still, he was helping to support me in this moment. Nicola's ruthless side killed Gil. Nicola's kind side helped me. I didn't know which was the real Nicola now. The Falzone was in a stir, seeing us arrive at their manor.
ニコラ、お前どうして戻ってきたってことは、お前の裏切りはやはりカポの作戦だったのか。
ダンテがそう言ったの？
いや、カポはお前のことには何も言及しなかった。
生還すると言ったきり話題に出すこともなかったからな。だから何か理由があるんじゃないかって思っていたんだが。
ニコラさんが本当に裏切ったのなら、カポはすぐに動いたはずだし。でも、それならそうと、作戦だってはっきり言ってくれたらよかったのに。
いや、考えてみればカポの判断は当然だ。情報はいつどこから漏れるともしれない。裏切りが嘘だとバレたらニコラ自身に危険が及ぶからな。
Nicola closed his eyes and mumbled as the men came to their own conclusions.
そうか。ダンテは何も。
Nicola's expression didn't change, but I could tell he was close to tears. After a brief pause, he slowly raised his head, showing a newly found resolve.
僕は報復のために戻ってきた。ダンテを、ファルツォーネファミリーのカポを殺した愚か者に地獄を見せるために。
Nicola's words brought in renewed vigor to the salon. Everyone looked at Nicola with expectation and hope in their eyes.
現状を報告して。
はい。カポが襲撃を受けたのはファルチェのベスタ通りです。住民にも死傷者が出てます。高所からの狙撃だったようで。
狙撃？例の構成員殺しなら背後から近づくのがセオリーだよね。
ああ、だから別件の可能性もあると思う。カポを狙うためより確実な手段を取ったというのもあり得るかもしれないが。
ダンテの体に残っていた弾は 7.62 ロシアンだった。おそらく使用したのはソビエト製のモシンナガンだろうな。ラオ州の人間が使っているのを何度か見たことがある。
His words had the salon in an uproar. It seemed like that it was news to everyone. So, the Lao Shu killed Dante? Hearing my words, Nicola slowly spoke with a menacing voice.
なら話は簡単だ。ラオ州の人間を全員殺せばいい。一匹残らず追い詰めて根絶やしにしてやろう。
俺、絶対カポの仇を取ります。すぐにでも動きましょう。
落ち着いてレオ。そのためには準備が必要だ。それにまずダンテの亡骸を弔ってやりたいんだ。
そうですよね。じゃないとカポが報われないです。
Leo nodded as his tears spilled out. It was then that I noticed the members looking at each other.
ニコラ、お前に頼みがある。
ダンテの無念を晴らすためだったら僕は何でもするよ。
Nicola would do anything, like he said. I slowly closed my eyes as I recalled Gil's bloody body.
だったら次のカポにはお前がなれ。
That probably came as a surprise to Nicola. I could tell his breath was caught in his throat.
俺たちをこのファルツォーネを引っ張っていけるのはお前だけだ。
そうですよ、ニコラさん。カポだってそう望んでるはずです。俺、ニコラさんにどこまでもついていきます。
レオ。けど僕はカポになりたくてここに戻ってきたわけじゃない。
Nicola forced out a smile, to which the executives quietly shook their heads.
だがカポ、ダンテなき今、ファルツォーネ直系の地に一番近いのはお前だ、ニコラ。頼む、ニコラ。俺たち全員のダンテのためにも。お前がこのファミリーを背負うんだ。
Nicola looked down as if he were in pain. He then hesitantly looked up.
いいよ。僕が全ての責任を取ろう。その立場に次のカポになるよ。
The men in the room all cheered at his acceptance. Everyone praised the new boss and vowed to follow Nicola to a brighter future.
君は教会に帰るんだ。僕たちは新たな戦いを始めなくちゃならない。ダンテの弔い合戦を。だから君はここにいる必要はない。
Nicola tried to put distance between us, but I looked straight back and replied, I want to stay here. Even if you don't need me anymore, there must be something I can help with. Please, Nicola? Nicola narrowed his eyes in disbelief, then gave a deep sigh.
じゃあ、勝手にすればいい。
His words granted me permission to stay here. I breathed a sigh of relief. I just have to find a way to help support Nicola through his grief and suffering. There must be something I could do, right?
って感じだよ。
なるほど、そう動いたか。
ファルツォーネにはもともとフランチェスカ派があったんだって。
フランチェスカ支持の幹部たちが中心になって体制を整えたみたいだよ。それにしてもこんなにあっさりレッドフォードが死ぬなんてね。
これもヤンの作戦なの？予想通り？
いや、俺の予想では生死は逆だ。遠くない未来、レッドフォードは用済みになったフランチェスカを始末し、そのままファルツォーネファミリーへ攻勢に打って出ると踏んでいた。
だったら大外れね。
ヤンの予想が外れるなんてね、珍しいよ。もしかして猛録した？
I ignored the giggling twins and thought about what would happen next.
ファルツォーネがあっさり死んだことも意外ではあるが、それ以上に俺が見誤っていたのはフランチェスカの方か。予想よりも怖い男のようだな、あれは。面白い。これは期待できそうだ。
何が楽しいの？ヤン。
思い通りにならなかったんでしょ？違うの？
すべてが思い通りになる未来ほどつまらんものはない。おかげで構想は長く続く。まだしばらくここで遊べそうだ。
I'll give you some time until you gain full control of the family.
あれはなかなか見どころがある。死んだファルツォーネ以上に俺を楽しませてくれればいいが。
I looked at the closed office door with a number of thoughts crossing my mind. Yesterday, we came back to the Falzones so that Nicola could speak with the members. Once he finished talking, he went straight into the office and hasn't appeared since. He showed up for breakfast this morning. I couldn't help but worry about him, but I couldn't barge in without good reason. I just have to wait until he opens the door. Oh.
ああ、ちょうどよかった。
The door to the office suddenly opened. He looks at me without a hint of surprise.
エスプレッソが飲みたいんだけど、持ってきてもらってもいいかな。
Yes, of course.
濃いめに入れてくれると嬉しいな。頭をはっきりさせたいからね。
He still looked tense. Aside from that, he's no different from his usual self. For some reason, I felt very uneasy. I saw how he reacted when he heard about Dante's death. The deep despair that was in his eyes was nowhere to be found. I kept looking at the door. A few minutes later, I went to the kitchen with a bad feeling about the situation. Uh, Julia, are you around? I hesitantly stepped into the kitchen to prepare the brew. Julia? I called her name again. A short while later, she appeared.
いますよ。どうしました？
I saw her this morning at breakfast. She seemed fine then and was acting like she normally did, but the Julia in front of me looked pale as if she had just been crying. May I borrow the kitchen for a moment? I wanted to brew a cup of espresso. Not knowing what else to say, I decided to say why I came down here. I could only imagine how hard it hit her when Dante passed away after so many years of caring for him.
もちろんどうぞ。
Thank you very much, Julia.
カフェラテじゃなくていいんですか？
No. Nicola asked me for an espresso.
ああ、ニコラ坊ちゃんはいつも濃いめのエスプレッソでしたね。
I suppose he enjoys the bitterness.
ミルクをたっぷり入れたがるダンテ坊ちゃんとは大違いです。
Julia's shoulders dropped with exhaustion, then let out a deep sigh. I could see tears welling up despite her closed eyes. Julia, I'm so sorry for what happened. I couldn't continue talking about it, seeing how weak Julia was now.
私がこんなに辛気臭くしてちゃみんなに悪いとは思うんですけどね。やっぱりまだ整理はつきませんよ。長い付き合いでしたから。
Julia forced a weak and sad smile out of her face.
当主様にこんなことを思うのは本来とても不敬なことですけど、私はダンテ坊ちゃんのことを本当の息子のように思っていましたから。
Julia.
唯一の救いはまたニコラ坊ちゃんのお世話を焼かせてもらえることです。お帰りになられて本当によかった。私はずっと信じていましたよ。お二人は仲違いしたわけじゃない。そんなことあるはずがないって。
Yes, you're right. I let out a smile too as I filled the cup with espresso. Julia, would you like a cup?
ありがたくいただきましょうか。ああ、いい香りですね。
I gave my first brew to Julia, who tried her best to keep even a weak smile on her face.
さあ、早くニコラ坊ちゃんにも持って行ってあげてくださいな。
Yes, and Julia, please don't push yourself. Everyone would be devastated if something happened to you. I would too, of course.
ありがとうございます。ニコラ坊ちゃんは幸せ者ですね。こんなに優しいお嬢さんがおそばにいてくれるんですから。
I wasn't sure how to respond. All I could do was smile back. Well, I'd better get going.
ありがとう。そこに置いておいて。
Nicola smiled and thanks me for bringing the espresso to the office. But he immediately went back to looking through the documents on his desk. Unable to make conversation, I placed the cup down and hastily made my exit. I sighed as if it had been a huge task. There wasn't much I could do now. I suppose I should be happy just having been able to see him. He thanked me with a smile. That odd feeling I had when he asked for an espresso. I was feeling that again now. I walked down the hall with my head down, back to the kitchen to return the tray. I saw a shoe right down in front of me. Leo, buongiorno.
ボンジョルノ。いい天気ですね。
It's pretty cloudy outside.
あ、ダメだ。俺まだらっこしいの苦手なんで単刀直入に行きます。一つ聞いてもいいですか？
Yes? Leo was a lot more forceful than usual.
どうして教会に帰らないんです？
Well, I didn't expect such a question from Leo, but I decided to question him in return. Why do you ask?
だってあなたは巻き込まれただけの普通の人じゃないですか。ファルツォーネにゆかりがあるわけでもない。マフィアの屋敷なんて普通の女の子ならきっと1秒だって早く出て行きたいはずです。
What Leo was saying was right. Back then, I used to dream every day of going back to the church.
なのに昨日あなたはニコラさんに教会に帰れって言われて断った。どうしてなんだろうって思って。
I smiled and answered Leo's question. It would be easy if I could just go back to the church and live like before. I'm sure things would be lovely and everything would return to normal for me.
だったらどうして？
I want to be with Nicola. I don't want to leave him. It's because I love Nicola. I wasn't going to hide my feelings. I looked at Leo and said what I truly felt inside. Leo's eyes widened in surprise. After a brief moment, he nodded.
そうですか。俺、あなたを応援します。今のニコラさんにはあなたが必要だと思うから。
Leo.
俺、カポが亡くなってすごく悲しいです。それでもきっとニコラさんの悲しみはこんなもんじゃない。
The discomfort and anxiety I felt. Leo seemed to feel the same way.
もし困ったことがあったら何でも相談してくださいね。
Thank you. I appreciate it.
それ、俺が持ちます。
Leo quickly took the tray from my hands and headed to the kitchen. I quickly turned around after sensing someone was looking at me from behind.
どうしたんです？忘れ物ですか？
Oh, I thought someone was behind us. I suppose it's just my imagination.
ああ、昨日の今日ですし、疲れてるのかもしれないですよ。無理しないようにしてくださいね。
I think you're right. Thank you. I replied with gratitude at Leo's genuine concern about my well-being. Leo's right. Maybe I'm just a nervous wreck right now. These past few days, so many things have happened to us. But Nicola must be going through far more than anyone here. I was more concerned about him than I was about myself, Wow. Okay. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and hit that big ol' red subscribe button. I am processing everything that has just happened. Go ahead, comment below. I would love to hear what you would have to say about today's episode. People are dying left and right, and emotions are all over the place, and Yang and Dante. Yep. So let me know what you think. I would be more than happy to talk to you about it. Alright, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of whatever time of day it is for you. Bye-bye.